Well, this is as far as I've gotten. I came out here in search of what looks to be an abandoned building and an old roadbed that I was hoping I could find and explore some history of this area. And this is as far as I'm going to get today. I'm on top of a very tall cliff, and the stream is pretty far below me, and I need to get somewhere down there past that cliff, but I have all of this country to get through first. So it looks like I'm going to have to come back on another day. Oh, and look, there goes a little fawn. Hi, little fawn. How are you? Hi. Hi, Mama dear. Hi. Oh, that's adorable. I think they just got spooked from some people who are camping up the hill behind me a little ways. Anyway, but while I'm here, I can point out a few things. Down here, so this is all mine tailings. All of these piles of rock are all mine tailings. And this is where the old timers came down, and they basically, this was a bench that had a lot of soil, and the level was far above where it is now. And so the bench came down off the mountainside, and then the stream down on the edge. And what they did is they washed away the soft soil, the clay soil, and left behind all the rocks. And they were pulling out the gold as they did that. So all of this is gold mining operations. You can see in some of these areas, you can see this gray layer of rock. The gold would have settled through the soils until it hit that hard layer of rock, and then it couldn't go any further than that layer. And so they washed away all of the soft soils that were on top of that layer of rock to get down to the gold, and the gold would have been down on the surface of that layer. So this entire benchland of soil, it probably would have been grassland, a dry grassland, but still a grassland nonetheless. You can see up here on this hillside, there's some areas of grassland, and you can see, so it would have been these dry grasses all down across this bench. There more than likely would have been a native village somewhere down in here, but all of that is gone now. And I don't say that to mourn the lossing of it. Things just simply happen, and it is what it is at this point. But that's the history of this place. That's what we're looking at. So when we look at these rock piles, I want to point out a specific feature. You can see of all these rock piles, look at this one right here with a perfectly straight wall. The rocks are carefully stacked on top of each other and in a nice straight line. Very careful masonry right there. This indicates that this gold digging here was operated by Chinese miners. The Chinese miners put a lot of care, even though this was just essentially a refuse pile. They were just getting rid of the rocks. They didn't want the rocks, but they still did such a neat and tidy job as they were doing that, and kept everything tidy. So this is the indication of a Chinese mining operation. And you can see some of these, they're not quite as tidy, but they still are generally lined up. There's one, see if I can get my finger on the right spot on the camera. I think it's this one right here. Looks like that's lined up on a wall as well. So some of them might not be so perfectly stacked and lined as that one, but still it's organized enough. I would say that probably this entire bench here is likely remains of Chinese mining operations. And then down here you get into other areas right next to it where the rock piles are round. They're not organized, they're just big piles. That would be where the white miners were operating. The white mining crews and the Chinese mining crews did not work together. They always worked segregated from each other. The Chinese were very much looked down upon, and actually the history of Chinese workers in the mining areas around here is actually more a history of slavery than anything else. That's how they were treated, and there were many mines who simply paid their Chinese miners in bowls of rice every evening, which is really not a wage. And so this was Chinese slavery in many of these mines. There were other mines where the Chinese fared very well, and where the mines were even owned by Chinese, and the Chinese laborers were treated very well by the Chinese owners. And I guess just like regular human history, there were some Chinese owners that still treated their Chinese employees like slaves. So anyway, that's just what we're looking at here. I wanted to point that out. The Chinese mining operation, as indicated by this neat and tidy wall right here. The white miners never did that. And then down here, we see evidence of white mining, which is where the piles are more round and disorganized, not built into straight walls. And yeah. And also you can see back in here is the layer of soil that existed before the mining came through. So they washed away this bench all the way back to that line, and all of that soil that was there has been washed away. Had they continued mining, we wouldn't even have that line of soil there. It would be washed away all the way back to the edge of the bench. But that's just a good example there of kind of what was here before versus what is here now. And I'm going to have to come back on another day. I'm going to have to find a different route to get down here to the stream. And like I said, down around that cliff, down there somewhere, is an historic building. I believe it's a building, having looked at it from Google Earth. It looks like there's an old historic building down there. I also said earlier that not only was there a building, but there was also a road. And so I do see this is part of the road right here. So I have now gotten a visual on this section of the road. And then the road came down, forded, and it crossed behind this. The road basically goes up past where the little building is, and then it goes up the far side of this mountain up there. And as far as I can tell from both Google Earth as well as from the visual I'm getting right now, this is an old road that is no longer used. This is just simply part of the mining operations that were here probably in the 1800s or as recently as maybe the 1930s or 40s, but certainly no more recent than that. There are other tracks in this canyon, other active roads that are used, and they do not connect to this road at all. So this is truly just a piece of forgotten history, and that's what I want to get down here for, is to rediscover some of this forgotten history, photograph it before it's gone, just record it, share it, let people appreciate it. Plus, it's a great excuse to get out here into this beautiful area, and when I have an opportunity, I will get down into one of these pools and go swimming. Down here around this corner of the mountain, there's a pool that looks like it's probably about 20 feet deep. So there are some beautiful pools around here. You just have to work to get to them. So I think I'm going to go ahead and close down the video, and I'm going to hike back up to the truck, which is up the mountain above me, and I guess go find a spot to cool down in some water. And now I just have to figure out how to stop this video. Which I don't know how to do, so everybody can just watch me trying to stop the video when I don't know how to do it. Oh hey, I just saw that people are watching. Hey Andrew. Andrew, how do I find all these cool places? I work at it. I have been hiking this territory for years, and even then, this spot here is unknown until now for me. I go on Google Earth quite a bit and Google Maps, and I look for all kinds of hints that tell me what I might be looking at. It's really difficult when you're looking on a satellite view to really know what you're looking at. What is the foundation of a cabin might actually just be a dead log laying on the ground. And so you really have to piece together a lot of clues. But I do use Google Earth and Google Maps quite a bit. And then also just my knowledge of kind of how people lived, what their patterns were, where I could expect to find places like this. I know, for example, that up here on this bench, this is probably some awesome gold-bearing soil up here. But unless there's reliable water up here, you're not going to have really heavy inhabitation up on this bench, because they would have to come all the way down here just to get their water and then haul it back up. So as long as there's gold in the area, they're going to be down here along the stream. This is where they're going to be doing their activity, even if that is rich soil. So just knowing some of those patterns of human habitation, human activity, that all helps you find these places. And yeah. Jason, hey. Yeah, that'd be cool if you were here hiking with me. That would be really rad. And let's see. Who else is on there? Hi, Kathy. Hey, Jonathan. No ghosts here today. I never got to the abandoned building. But when I get down there, I'll let you know if I get spooked. Hey, Rob. Nice seeing you. Joseph. Denise. Yes, Denise, you saw the deer. I'm kind of scrolling up through the comments, seeing some older stuff. Yeah, those deer, that was really cool. For those of you who dialed in a little later, there was a mama and a fawn. There are some people camped up here in the brush behind me, and I think that they spooked some deer. And a little fawn came down and just bounced, bunny hopped all the way through down here and stopped right next to me. Right there was a little baby fawn, and it just stared at me for a moment. And then the mama came running down. She knew that I was a human, so she was, hey baby, move along. And the two of them ran off. That was really cool. Anyway, hi Kat, good seeing you. Yeah, okay, well, like I said, I've got to figure out how on earth to turn off a Facebook Live. I have no idea. I don't see any buttons on here that I recognize. I'm going to see if I can end this video. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and take care. God bless. I say, optimism.